All right, what's up guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, guys, we're going to be doing more of a theory craft style video, a style of video I haven't done in a while now. I've been doing a lot of deck tech style videos, game reviews or game analysis videos, and just stuff like that. But today we're going to take a step back and we're going to talk about levels of competitiveness. And that's going to be the focus of today's video. We are going to be going over a little list I prepared here for us that kind of talks about, where I want to know. I'll have to put out a poll along with this video. I don't know, maybe we'll see. Putting out like a poll with the video talking about like where do you put yourself, and it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter how competitive you are. This is just a personal thing. It's a personal preference type of thing. But yeah, this is what we're going to go over today. So let's go ahead and just dive straight into it. And as usual, guys, please don't be afraid to comment down in the comment section below. Don't be ashamed to say you're one of the sweaties out there. Don't be ashamed if you're not competitive at all, because everyone has a different pull to the game. You see what I'm saying? So we're going to go ahead and break that down now and kind of dive into it. And I'll tell you guys where I line up on this little chart here. And make your predictions now where you think that I line up. You might be surprised. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into it. So the first one at the very top here, and actually, okay, I say let's dive into it, but I have to stress one more thing, guys. This is not a how skilled are you video or like, taking your game to the next level style video. This is just a personal thing on like how competitive would you say you are, okay? And I have done an entire series on like taking your game to the next level, going from beginner level to intermediate to expert. This video does not cover that. Okay, just so you know. And by all means, check out this video series if you have not already, if you're interested in this kind of idea, because I made an entire 7-part series. Each one's 20 minutes long, going into detail on like how to take your game to the next level and like kind of use as a gauge where it's like, okay, it looks like I am like at the intermediate or expert level of each one of these, and you can go from there. This isn't like gospel truth or anything. This is just my personal opinion based on my experience with TCGs, and I have been playing TCGs now for 15 years. So just to kind of give you guys a heads up. Okay, so now back to what we were saying. How competitive are you? First, I'm going to walk through these, and then we'll kind of go back and dissect it a little bit and go into more details. So the first level here is just not competitive. Okay, and I do have this from like 1 to 5. So from not competitive to extremely competitive. So the first one being not competitive, this is like you enjoy TCGs, right? Like you enjoy watching or maybe even playing TCGs or checking them out from the side, or perhaps you like what this one is about. Like you might like One Piece, right? The IP for this is like you like the game or the manga for One Piece, so you follow this game from, as a spectator almost as a people watcher. So that's the not competitive person. They just want to have fun with the game or enjoy it from the side, from the spectator view, from the stands, right? You might go to a local tourney once a month, or maybe once every 3 months when a new set comes out. You might not go very often at all because you're just not really competitive. It's not your thing, right? The next step would be you're mildly competitive, right? You're a little competitive, not much, but you do like to go and play and win. You like to have a good time, and you might start putting together your own off-meta deck or something like that. You might start working on your collection at this green point here, where you go to locals a few times a month and have a good time. Go to pre-releases and things like that. Anything local is definitely on limits, like not off limits, but it's within your limits. Like you don't mind doing that. Whereas the not competitive person, excuse me, guys, the not competitive person, they might not even have a collection at all. They might have a few starter decks they tried, opened up a few booster packs. Whereas the barely competitive person, it's like, okay, I'm starting to focus on putting a deck together that it might be meta or it might be a slightly off-meta deck that I thought looked cool. So you're just going to do that. Okay, next is the somewhat competitive. Now we're in the middle, right? We're at the halfway point now. Like if this is 1 to 5, we're at 3. If this is 1 to 10, we're at 5. Somewhat competitive is like, okay, I do enjoy, scratching my itch, so to speak, of competition. I'd like to go to a locals every now and then, and I would like to play and win. And I want to put a deck together of my preference, and I actually, I'm rarely going to miss locals but I'm not going to travel to play, right? Like I'm not going to travel to a regional that's like a few hours away, or maybe a lot, like 5 or 6 hours away. But I'm going to go to like locals pretty often. I'm going to go to all the pre-releases. I'm going to be a face you see around the place. You want to play often, like I said, and you want to win. So you're starting to work on a collection. So that way, if the meta shifts, you're also ready to go with it, right? And still have fun and still be competitive. So you can go to these tournaments and have fun and have a good time still. Okay, now we're getting into the orange zone and the red zone here, right? The sweaties, quote unquote, right? This is what they call sweaty players who are just, it's win or nothing type of mentality. So now we're getting into orange. This would be pretty competitive, or very competitive would probably be a more accurate term, but I didn't want to confuse it with extremely competitive. Very, excuse me guys, sorry, my allergies. Pretty competitive or very competitive. You're playing as often as you can. You're practicing at home. You're studying. You're starting to study the websites at this point, right? You're starting to see what is changing in the meta. What kind of tech choices are decks running now to beat certain decks? You've downloaded the sim. At this point, if you're at pretty competitive, you probably have multiple decks you can unlock at any time. And like, all right, I'm going to play yellow this week. I'm going to play purple the next week. I'm going to play blue-black Sakazuki this week, or whatever's big at the time of you playing. And you're ready to go. You do not miss locals. Of course, you'll miss a locals when you need to or if you have to. But generally speaking, you're not going to miss if you can help it, right? You're not going to miss. You're going to travel nearby to compete. Like, even if it's like 2 hours away, you're ready to travel a little bit. And to kind of show, this is where, after you pass the halfway point, you start reaching the levels of, I kind of want to prove how good I am. Right, this is the first stage of like, I have something to prove. And not necessarily, not literally. You don't literally have anything to prove to anyone, right? I mean, you might feel that way, but you don't. No one's holding you to a certain standard or anything like that, right? But you're starting to feel that inside, like, I really want to prove to myself that I can win. Okay, and then last but not least here, we got the extremely competitive, the hardcore competitive. This is where the term sweaty comes from, where they, losing is not an option. Right, so even at a local level, they're the person that is just going to, they're not going to lose, generally speaking, unless they're just not good, maybe. Right, that would be the idea. Because if they're extremely competitive, that means they own every single card. That means they know all about the meta. They know everything going on. They've done their research. They're playing this game for a reason, and it's to win. That is their reason for playing. They're going to practice every day. They're going to be on the sim every day. They're going to try to get in every major tournament, even if they have to travel across the country. We saw that with nationals right here in America, and I'm sure in Europe as well. I don't know as much about that. But these people are extremely competitive, and that's not a bad thing, by the way. Like, let's not. I say sweaty here. I know that's demeaning, but that's just to relate to people who know what I'm talking about. Whereas like the non-competitive people might be confused with players who are just trash, right? Like, oh, this kid's not good at the game. He's like memeing or something, right? Like he doesn't know what he's doing. Whereas the extremely hardcore competitive are more like on the sweaty side, like, they're considering every play, even at a locals. They're not even going to a locals off meta, nothing. Like they are there to win. So that's mainly it, right? That is the layout. That is the work, the groundwork for what we're talking about today. And tell me where you line up in the comment section below. And I'll try to put out a poll on this, because I think the polls have been going pretty well, and this would be a fun one to see where people line up, especially to see where my viewers line up. So before I move on, where I reside, there might be people out there like me, and you fluctuate. You actually fluctuate completely. You're just hybrid, where sometimes you're competitive and other times you're just not. Like, there might be a week that there might be like 2 or 3 weeks that go by where I don't play, where I'm just busy with life or whatever. And then the next week, I'm just at every single tournament, that I can make, in like 2 or 3 tournaments a week for like 2 weeks straight, where I'm out there trying to win with whatever. If I had to say what I am on average, I would say I'm just literally right here at yellow. I'm at somewhat competitive. And another thing to consider is your lifestyle might be what determines where you are on here. Like, for example, if I did not have children, if I did not have a full-time job I had to worry about, and if I just had all the time in the world, then I would probably be down here in extremely competitive or pretty competitive. Maybe. It's hard to determine, but I think you guys see what I'm saying. But because of my personal, real life obligations, I can only really afford to be somewhat competitive. I'm gonna rarely miss a local, even if I don't play. You can, for those who don't know, I will go to a local and just not even play. I'll go to a local just to hang out with my friends, so people can see my face around there. They know I'm still, like I'm still here. I can't play tonight, but I'm still here. I'm here to support my locals, and I want to see what my guys are playing. Cheer for my friends, stuff like that, and just have a good time just watching games. I think that's a good place to be at. Like even if I can't compete, at least I can be there for my friends, right? But I'm not going to travel to play, generally speaking, because of my real life obligations. Now, again, if I was just like a young bachelor, had time and had the money to do it, I could be extremely competitive, and that would be fun as well, right? That would be fun for me, or at least pretty competitive or very competitive, somewhere in between here. But generally speaking, I'm in the somewhat competitive area, where what's more important to me than competing? Making these YouTube videos. What's more important to me than competing? Literally going to work every day, or being there for my kids, or fill in the blank. Y'all see what I mean? So again, I do want to hear where you guys line up on this. I got a few more things I want to say before I close out the video here. On One Piece, this is the official website, the English One Piece-cardgame.com website. They kind of have a similar idea set up here for like beginners and rookies. I would consider these the same people. Beginners, obviously, they're talking about people who don't even have any cards, like you're trying to get into the game and learn how to play. Excuse me. Rookies are for like, okay, now you know the rules and you have your first decks, and now you can go to like locals, I guess. But intermediate is more like for the locals, to be completely honest, and that's how it is in most card games. Excuse me. Whereas rookies is more about like learning on your own a little bit, where you have to put a little bit of time in. Like these two kind of share a spot. I'll say that rookies and intermediate players, they both are going to meet at locals to try to make it to the next level, or see if they want to keep playing the game at all. And then you have competitive. I clicked on this; it's loading. This is like for the Treasure Cup players, Nationals, World Championships, stuff like that, Treasure Cups, things like that, for the very hyper competitive players. Now, if you are looking to, like I said, if you're looking to take your, let me go back. This is the screen we're just on. If you're like at the beginner or rookie level, and maybe even early stages of intermediate, if you're trying to take your game to the next level, I do recommend checking out these videos. And there are a lot of good videos out there that you can check out, not just mine, on becoming better at the game. Okay, and I have them broken down just like this, throughout, where you can like, I go into extensive detail, right? Like a lot of detail. And if you have any questions, just ask me. Obviously, I don't mind answering them. And the same thing, like if you go to my channel, like, okay, view your channel, you can hop on the Discord anytime you want to, which is right here. I always have this on my channel. So if you need to hop on, by all means do. Hang out with us on there. And, you can gauge how competitive you are from that. You see what I'm saying? So that's another opportunity for you. What else? For the newer players, I know some of the players who know what they're doing. They're super competitive. You've probably already they have probably already checked out this video. Like, all right, I see where that's going. Just logging off now, right? But for the newer players, the more intermediate level players, these are really good websites to know. This is OnePieceTopDecks.com, where you can check out all these new different decks that come out. Like they even have the East decks on here, and you can check out all the cool new stuff coming out of here. Then there's also EggmanEvents.com. He has a lot of cool stuff as well. Where he mainly covers the West, but still, hop on here and look at all the cool stuff he has on here. From like, this is from a case tournament over on the far left, a Treasure Cup, a Win-A-Box, Nationals, things like that. All kinds of really good stuff here. Then there's also this one. This is Limitless. Actually, it's onepiece.limitlesstcg.com. And this is for the more competitive players. So if you're a newer player entering into the game, but you're highly competitive, this is a great website for you to see what kind of tournaments are coming out. These are all major tournaments coming out. Like, notice if it has this little Discord symbol, this is for online tournaments. Whereas if you see a flag, it is a tournament in that country. So this is a tournament, this is a regional at Wolverhampton. Don't know how to say that. This is one at Santa Clara, California. This one's in Germany, in Krefeld. This one's in Mexico. They have them all over the world. This game is really popping up everywhere. It's really exploding onto the TCG scene. Speaking of that, real quick, I will mention I still have plans to go to Kissimmee in April, but I cannot make any promises. That's for sure. I did not get in on the signups, like the initial signups that came out. This game is so big right now that it sold out like within 10 minutes of signups being released. So I'm probably going to try to drive down there and get in at the venue. Maybe try to get in as a last minute slot. I don't know. I'll have to talk to people and see what's possible. Or if you know, by all means, comment down in the comment section below. Because I would like to go to this. I do live in Florida. I'm about 2 hours away from Kissimmee, or maybe 2.5 hours or so. So this is, this is very doable for me. Okay. What else? I had these up just for people who want to look up the cards. There's a better site to look up all the cards coming out, and it's the same thing as, okay, look, how do I say this? You know how there's the English, that's what EN stands for up here at the top, guys. EN stands for English, so there's english.onepiece-cardgame.com, and then there's the asia-english.onepiece-cardgame.com. This is the one where you can go to see all the cards that are already out in the East that we don't have access to yet. Okay, so good stuff there. And then last but not least is tcgplayer.com, so that way you can buy specific cards that you need for your deck. So if you go to One Piece, shop all, whatever, you don't have to do all that. You can just type in the top here whatever you want. Like, okay, let's just, we'll just click on one, and boom, you can buy whatever you want to, right? What's another one? Like, oh, here we go. If you need to buy this card, or you need to buy pudding or something, whatever you're trying to buy, it doesn't matter. You can search it in here and find it. Okay, well, that's about it, guys. I hope y'all enjoyed that. Again, just to kind of recap, excuse me, this video was all about how competitive are you as a player. And I want to know what you guys have to say down in the comment section below. I think I'm going to put a poll up, I think we can only have 4 options on the poll. So I'll probably just have like from barely, I'll have not competitive, somewhat, pretty competitive, and extremely. I'll just skip over the green one. We'll just I'll just try to combine the blue and the green. And that'll be fun to talk about and see where you guys line up. Because I'm curious to see where my viewer base lines up as to how competitive they are. Okay, all right, guys, that's about it. If you got any comments or questions, please do not hesitate to put them down in the comment section below. If I missed anything, y'all help me out. And please do not forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, guys, peace.